Hello, 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 and welcome to, hold on, the Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And we can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Her. I am currently just sipping on a little bit of water here because hydration is important. But mostly important is my cup mug. And here, and we do have a panel full of cup mugs. Yay! For our interview edition, period. We really hadn't had that in a minute. But um you can get your cup mugs at Lana G's Creations or any of our beautiful cup merch. LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses. Get your cup merch.
Well, I'm David Healy, and I don't have a cute intro, but I do have a cute shirt. We'll keep it going for the cup merch. I'm wearing my cup shirt. Yes.
Period.
You can also buy that at lanagcreations.etsy.com. But I'm just drinking some water.
Period. And we are here because we are going to have a wonderful conversation with the beautiful, the talented, the queen herself, Miss Nikita Iman. And I'm so excited to talk to Nikita. I hate that we have to talk to Nikita, but you know, it is what it is. And we're gonna enjoy that. I think we're gonna enjoy our time talking to Nikita. What about you, David?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm excited.
All right. So enough of us. Let's cut us out of here. Let's get to Nikita Iman. All right. Hello, everyone. We are here talking to the beautiful, the talented, the amazing Miss Nikita Iman is here. Yay.
Hello, good morning, it's me.
We're so glad to have you here. We have been
We're sad too.
We're sad, number one, because we have to talk to you now and not later. But we're just happy to have you here because it's been amazing watching you. The journey has been so good, and we've had such a great time watching you on this season. You've done amazing, so we're excited to talk to you.
Thank you.
So I want to know
to the
go
end
ahead.
of that.
Yeah.
No, you go.
I just want to know how you were feeling after watching your elimination episode.
I felt really good. I mean, it was a little bit hard to watch the roast, which was the same watching the acting challenge. But I was back in Auckland. I was visiting family, so I was able to do a little viewing with my girls, which was really nice. And then we just kind of celebrated it afterwards. I mean, obviously, we filmed it almost just under a year ago, and so kind of what I've been anticipating for it to come out and versus what came out was actually a lot better than I thought. But no, it was good. It was really good because I remember I really enjoyed watching the roast of the other girls when I was there, and so I was just really excited to see that come out because obviously this was the first roast that we've done.
Right.
And I thought that the girls killed it, and I had a couple laughs.
You did. You had some laughs.
For sure. I always like to ask our guests how they came up with their name. So a lot of them have puns. Nikita Iman, there's no pun in there. I love the name, but I would love to know the origins for it.
Of course. So when I was younger, I used to watch this spy series called Nikita. It was with Maggie Q. I don't know whether you know her. I think she's like an Indonesian, Malaysian actress. But yeah, she was this spy, and she always wore like red and black latex, and she was always having her like dresses, and then her gun was like on the side of her leg. So I always thought that was really cunt when I was younger. And then Iman comes from my house. We're a ballroom house in the Kiki scene here in Aotearoa. Founded in Aotearoa, and now we have an Australian chapter. So, and I'm not really a pun kind of gal. I like a cunt name. You know, I think the pun names are good for the girls who like the pun names, and then there's just me, Nikita, in the corner.
Period. I mean, you just talked about your ballroom you being in the ballroom scene. I want to know how you got started in that scene. How did you get started in the ballroom scene?
I think I was probably like maybe 20 or 21. So that was 7, 8 years ago. But I started ballroom when I started drag. So like to me, as I was progressing my drag, I was also like starting in ballroom.
Mm.
But I remember hearing about balls kind of when I was younger, and I wasn't really too sure about kind of the environment that it was giving. And then also, I think being young and not really too sure of like what community or sub community you fit in. I wasn't really too sure whether if balls was kind of my scene. But I started drag, maybe it was a month in, I was at home kind of just playing with makeup. And then one of the girls was like, okay, we're going to go to the ball and support one of the girls that's walking. And so I got in full geesh, went to the ball. And then as I got there, they just started doing face. And I was like, well, obviously, like, I think I'm really pretty. I might as well walk face. And then I walked and I won that category, which was my first category. And then I did runway. I got my final battles for that. And then ever since then, my friend started a House of Iman, and they kind of asked me if I wanted to just like jump in and kind of just like help them establish the house whilst I'm still training and stuff. And that was 8 years ago. And then ever since then, I've just been walking the balls every now and then. Moved to Australia a couple of years ago, and have been doing my community engagement, my networking with the kids here, and kind of just putting Nikita out there. But yeah, I love the ballroom scene. To be honest, I wouldn't really know where I would be if it wasn't for the ballroom scene.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of ballroom scene, you found out eventually that the host of the series would be Michelle, who got her start in the
Yes.
ballroom scene too. So I was wondering how you felt whenever you found out that news, and how do you think she did as a host?
I was so excited when I heard that Michelle was going to be the judge. I think it's definitely just what this Down Under needed, was just a fresh perspective, something different. And I mean, Michelle's kind of like the big auntie here in Down Under, so it was really nice to have her be the host. And I think she's just like really, really friendly with all the girls as well. Going and knowing that she's from the ballroom scene, I kind of knew that she would get my references and kind of my style perspective and kind of what I was gonna bring. And so like there were moments like I think in the first episode when I wore my orange look, I wasn't really too sure, compared to Vibe's orange wedge look, on which one was kind of, come across more kind of, what would you call it, like not so, I mean, it was a two-piece and a crochet dress, so I wasn't too sure how the judges were going to take it, but Michelle loved it, and I think that's just because Michelle pulls her inspiration from what I pull my drag inspirations from as well, just kind of like that fantasy essence. So I was really excited to have her there. I mean, we didn't really talk a lot about kind of her background in ballroom. I mean, there was a couple of times where we did a kid off camera, but I didn't really want to kind of like ask her too much about her background, because I know that she, knows Willy Ninja and stuff like that, and all the girls in the States.
Absolutely, yeah. We found Michelle so refreshing. I was like, ugh, this was a good choice. This was a good choice.
And I don't even know how I would have been with Rue, because I was always last. I was always the girl that wasn't ready yet. And I was like, oh my gosh, if Rue was here, I would not be able to be late. I had to be on time.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I don't know. Look, I won't speak on Rue because I don't know how that would have went. But yeah, I think I kind of agree with you. I do. But once you saw, let's take you back to walking into the workroom for the first time, and you saw the entire cast there. Who were you like? Oh, this girl is here. That's my competition in this show right now.
Well, I only kind of knew Vibe a couple of times going out and kind of seeing her, because I haven't really seen her that much before I went. Kana, I knew from the scene, kind of like watching a performance, stuff like that. I actually went up to kind of the week before we flew out, and I was like, "Am I going to see you next week Thursday? Are you going to be there?" She was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And so it was kind of Max. I used to follow years ago, so I kind of like knew when she walked in. I was like, "Oh my god, fuck." Lucina, I know, I knew from back home. And then, yeah, those were the only girls that I knew, to be honest. I mean, I only knew the Sydney girls and then the Auckland girl, Lucy. Um, but as all the girls were coming out, I was like, oh my gosh, these are actual drag queens. Like, I was kind of like, oh, I felt a little bit out of my depth in the first couple of days. Or, yeah. And especially when the girls were pulling up their stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, y'all have some nice stuff. And here I am in the corner trying to like finish off my outfit.
Yeah.
Well, what part of the actual filming process surprised you the most during Down Under?
Oh, God. I mean, does not having your phone count as the filming process? Is that what you mean?
Sure, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think like I knew, like I've done a few TV stuff and I've done like a few on-camera stuff and shoots, so I kind of know what it's like to be on set. And I kind of knew that, it's going to take a long time, moving cameras and stuff like that. And then I knew that, obviously we're going to be by ourselves when we're in the hotel, no phones and whatnot. And so I was really prepared for that. I just don't think I was prepared to be told what to do constantly. Like I wasn't allowed to be alone. I couldn't go smoke by myself. I couldn't go toilet by myself. Like I think that just it made me feel as if I was back in school. And I was like, I'm an adult. Don't tell me what to do, kind of thing. And so I think that I was so over it because of that. But the filming process itself, it was fine.
Nikita, you are so mean because that is so what I'll be like. Don't tell me.
I'll just be like, don't
I
tell me what to
hate
do.
it. I hate that so much. I'm like, don't tell me
Literally.
what. I can go to the bathroom by myself. I don't. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I will go on and on. So yeah.
Other than that, the filming process itself was good. I mean, we were 2 days per episode, 6 days filming a week, so we had at least one day off.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
And she was
yeah, go ahead.
No, and I was because it was I think it was a 3-week duration for the filming, and I was there for the whole 3 weeks. So, period.
So at the beginning of episode 1, you talked about how gatekeeping was a thing in Sydney, in the drag scene there in Sydney, and so I want to know: do you still stand by that, and has it gotten better?
I mean, I think that's the thing with the bigger cities. I think like with the bigger cities, there's more venues, there's more queens, and more queens are just very territorial about their nights and kind of what they do, which is completely fine. I mean, these are girls that do drag full time, and so it makes sense that the girls, hold on to their bookings and stuff. Whereas I think in Auckland, even our big nights, like the nights that Kita hosts and stuff, there'll always be someone new, kind of every single month and whatnot, and I think that took me by surprise when I moved here. I mean, it was expected, but I was also kind of like, oh, I thought maybe I could like get in there and kind of do something that wasn't competition based, that wasn't, doing a free spot. But since then, the girls have been really, really fab. I mean, I've kind of introduced myself to most of the girls here in Sydney. But before I even went on the show, when I moved here, I kind of knew that breaking into the drag scene was going to be a bit of a challenge. So my goal was to do my community engagement with the ballroom scene in Sydney first, which is what I did in New Zealand, was connect with my community and then kind of reach out to the drag scene. And so even though before I had left, I wasn't really doing much in terms of the drag scene, but I was still at the balls. I was still walking, judging, and stuff. And so now I'm definitely performing more, which is nice. I've got 2 gigs on this week. Go me.
Period.
But yeah, I mean, I think that was the thing after going into the show, and especially after the show, I've never been a full-time drag artist, and I think I never really had confidence to sit in myself in my drag artistry, and I think that's the one thing I took away from the show is that I am a drag artist, and my perspective is different, but I can definitely, there's value in it, and so I think since filming, that's just what I've been working on, and then hopefully in the new year, um, with Mardi Gras and stuff, I can put myself out there more. But yeah, no, the gates are unlocked, and I
Period.
I come and I go as I please.
Awesome. We love
Period.
that.
Love
uh,
it.
well, I do want to talk about your Snatch game. Personally,
Okay.
I actually liked your character of
I
Mother
did
Nature. I thought it
too.
was fun. You wouldn't have been in my bottom, but I want to know after watching it back, how did you feel about your character?
Well, firstly, it was an interesting edit that they did with the Snatch game
Mhm.
because I was so excited for it to come out because the girls did so well, and I don't think it kind of gave like the bottom girls were a little bit like meh, and then even the top girls were also just like a little bit meh as well in terms of the edit. Um, but my Snatch game, yeah, I remember I remember walking up to the set and I had my cards in front of me and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm literally gonna sit down and try to do Snatch Game with a character that I haven't workshopped that well. Um, but before I had left, because my partner's a biologist, so Mother Nature was actually his idea. And I told him, okay, sweet, well, can you please like write down some notes, some facts, climate change facts and some jokes and stuff. And we workshopped that. I workshopped my roast and then I also workshopped my acting. And I left my notebook when I went to filming. Um, and I got to the hotel and I was like, oh my gosh, they're just about to take my phone off me. I have no notes. Let me try
Oh
and like
no.
search up some facts. But then they obviously cancelled the Wi-Fi in each of the rooms. So I was just like sitting there and then I was like, okay, well, obviously he's told me so many things about climate change over the years, but it just goes in one ear and out the other. And I just couldn't remember any facts. And so when Michelle was like going for the questions, I was like, oh, climate change, microplastic, climate change, CO2. I was just like, oh my gosh. Uh,
Oh,
but I had
everything.
so many more. I had so many more terrible moments because I was so excited because like I threw myself off stage pretending it was like an earthquake. I got black ink and I literally did like my face as if it was like an oil spill and I put rubbish. And then you know how at the end of Snatch Game you kind of say goodbye to the characters, so you
Mhm.
could see my Mother Nature after all of that with like my black eyeliner makeup and stuff like that. So it was interesting that they didn't choose to include that because I wanted to have a little laugh. I wanted to I wanted to see what I did.
I think that would have been funny to see you falling off stage and
I
painting
think so.
yourself black. Mm.
Yeah, my critique from Michelle was it seems like you had objectives and goals you wanted to achieve,
Mhm.
and no matter what happened, you were gonna do it. And I was like, that's what happened. No matter what
Yep.
happened, I was just gonna do my bits. Oh my
I love it.
gosh.
I love it.
Uh,
Okay. So on another note, let's go back to you were voted the sexiest member of the cast. Like you are. How did you feel being the trade of the season?
well, I'm not surprised. I'm surrounded
I
by
mean,
dogs.
oh, her, her.
Good answer.
Oh my god, that's so cool. It was cute. I mean, I kind of really, there's not a lot of drag queens that can give it in and out of drag. No shade. So I was excited to show, that we're here, we exist. There's not a lot of us, but
I mean, it felt correct. it
yeah,
felt it felt
It
correct.
did. It did for
I think it
sure.
was just nice. I was excited. I think I was just most excited for there to be just a pretty island boy on the show. I think just someone who's young and just has like refreshing. I don't know. I remember someone said, I read it on Reddit, that someone was like, Nikita has like childlike joy, which
Mm.
very much is to like me and kind of the way that I live and look at life. And so I think it was just, yeah, it was nice. I have been kind of thinking about for so many years, like if I did get on the show, would I be the trade of the season? But I actually said in my IV that I don't really like the term trade. To me,
Mm-hmm.
it's gross. But I love in Boring we've got a term called twister, which is someone who gives it to you in and out. So
Oh,
I was like,
period.
I said that in my IV, but they obviously didn't use that.
I like
Oh, I
that.
love that. Well, then you are the twister of the
Oh
season,
yeah.
honey.
Twister,
Period.
twister.
Love it.
Well, kind of
But I mean,
speaking.
it wasn't really. It was actually a really good looking cast. I mean, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the boys were really cute,
Mhm.
minus Lacey and Bart.
Not that. Well, I am curious about the episode where you opened up about identifying as Fafafene, which is a term I had never heard as an ignorant American. But I'm very curious, like where you are now with your gender journey after that episode.
Um, I think now that I've actually vocalized and kind of said it, but the funny thing is that like this happened again earlier this year, and so when I kind of came to that realization, then since then I've just kind of been living my life the same, but then just like kind of almost through a different lens in a way. Because I always was, I think, very feminine. I mean, yeah, I am very feminine. And then I knew that I was fafafinha, but it was just never something that I kind of really bothered to sit down and kind of like process and talk about and whatnot. And I mean, my house mother's fafafinha. Majority of the kids in my house are trans, are femme queens, and I've just always been surrounded by fafafinga my whole life, and so I feel like when I came to that realization, there was a switch in my brain, but nothing drastic because it's just kind of the environment that I've always been around.
Mhm.
Um, but I do remember I was kind of watching Kick-Ons. I don't know whether if you guys watch Kick-Ons with Art Simone. And she was kind of talking about how this kind of like realization would kind of help me give me more confidence and power.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really think about it like that, but it definitely does. I mean, like since the episode came out and I was able to rewatch it, my performances have the essence of my performances I find has kind of been a little bit more flowy, a little bit more oozy. I find like I think that's what's the main thing that's kind of been unlocked because personality wise, I'm still the same, but I think yeah, whenever I perform now, I just sit and be like, I'm faffing it. Let me give you the essence of faffing it, and let me
Period.
tell you the story and give you the fantasy kind of thing. So
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
been
It
good.
definitely, it was so good because it was a moment where we saw you just blossom on like right before our eyes. Your performances went from one way to another, and it was like, oh, you just know who you are now, and it was beautiful to watch. But
No,
speaking of
thank
the makeup,
you.
it was beautiful. Ugh. Speaking of the makeover, because you were able to show off your culture with your partner, and it was one of the most beautiful things to watch between you, that relationship that you had with your partner. How did you feel about that win and being able to represent your culture on that main stage and be rewarded for it? Like,
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't even my goal for my makeover look. Like I didn't even want to do a salmon outfit because I'd already bought other stuff. But it just made sense when I got Lewis.
yeah.
And then as soon as obviously Lewis came through, and I put us together, it was a no-brainer to do something Samoan and something cultural. But then I had pieces, but I didn't have like a whole look. Her look and my look is actually just one look that I've had to break up into two. Um, and then Lewis also wore the skirt for my finale outfit because I was like, I have nothing to give you except for this outfit, but it's my finale. But I knew that I wanted her to be comfortable and confident and whatever I put her in. And to be honest, I kind of thought I was going to be in the bottom before I got my critiques because I just was so unsure about everything. But what I was sure was the story that we were going to tell. And I think, I don't know what it was. I think it was because Lewis and I were similar ages. We're both kind of similar in terms of like how we were raised in New Zealand, kind of away from Samoa and stuff. And so it was just us really getting to know each other and then getting to know our stories and then also getting to know our relationship with our culture. And I think because we were just trying to get to know each other and that was caught on camera, I think it just translated very genuine, which was really nice. Um, but yeah, I mean, I didn't even realize that I did most of that because it was just kind of me interacting with someone and really getting to know them and really making them comfortable with being in drag and then also on TV as well. But I was so proud to be able to rewatch that back and then see us coming down on the runway and just the outfits, the story, the Siva, is something that I've actually really been craving from Drag Race in general, just to really see that. I mean, we got that from Queen, we also got that from Sasha, and we got a little bit of that from Britta, but I just don't think that there's been a queen that's just been really hundies on Pacifica beauty and what it is like to be an island girl, um, and it was just I wasn't too sure how it was going to be received from the fan base. I mean, considering things that happened with Queen in the past, and then also, on the show, you never really know how the cultural perspective kind of goes with the judges, whether they like it or they don't get it, kind of thing. But they loved it, and it's just been so well received. And I think maybe because it is down under, it is Australia and New Zealand, so there's island girls everywhere. So, but everybody just really enjoyed it, and we looked so beautiful.
Oh yeah.
I was just really unsure whether we were going to look really good on camera, but we looked really, really beautiful. And I went in to win the sewing challenge, but winning the makeover challenge was a great surprise to me, and mainly a surprise because of the way that we did it. Yeah, it was just really beautiful to see, and it was just I think at that time I needed Lewis's kind of energy and sisterhood there that I can just kind of like step away and kind of talk to. That kind of knows a little bit about who I am and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, it was so well received, which was so nice, and definitely my highlight of the show and something I will never forget.
That's awesome.
I think I've seen that episode 5 times. I think my house has my mother's seen it about almost 10. My parents watched it, they cried, which is something I never thought that they'll do watching my drag.
Aww.
That's beautiful.
But yeah.
Well, I am curious. It did feel like in episode 1 this might just be our perception based on the edit, but it really seemed like there was a tension set up between you and Vibe. And we were hoping to get some sort of resolution for that by the end of the season, but I don't think we quite got that. So where did you end things with Vibe by the time you were done on the show?
Yeah, that's so fair because watching it and then obviously comparing it to what happened in person, obviously we don't know what each other's IVs were going to be like. And we knew that our IVs we were going to go in terms of just like, giving our opinion and stuff like that. But I mean, Drag Race does love to drag a story. And I'm kind of, I'm not mad at the story. But I never really felt that animosity or kind of that tension in person when I was with Vibe. I mean, we were all just kind of like chilling, and we all got really close after the first couple of days of filming. And so I didn't really realize what was happening, in her IVs and stuff and kind of how she was feeling. But I mean, after I made that comment, it kind of got brought up a couple of times. But other than that, it was nothing really that like it didn't really feel that deep to me.
Right.
And then obviously it was a thing on in the first couple of episodes. But sometimes I just say shit that comes out of my mouth, and it's on TV, so obviously they're gonna catch it and then they're gonna run with it, which I don't blame them. But I feel like, I mean, Vibe and I got really, really close. I was really close with Vibe and Mandy throughout the whole process. And yeah, I think even though I say really dumb shit, I'm like in person, I'm still really likable. And like I made it an effort to really get along with all the girls because I just knew what the process was going to be long, lonely, and stressful. So the last thing I wanted was to make enemies or like not not like someone because of something they said or did on in a process that's only 3 weeks of drag.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, I wasn't really that bothered by anything, but I mean her comments were valid. To be honest.
I said this on this recap on the show. I was like, the first episode, I was like, I don't know if we're getting the real Nikita. I think she's a little nervous. I think she's a little,
I saw that. I saw
trying to.
that.
I was like, I think she's trying to compare herself to these other queens. I don't know if she feels comfortable yet. I said, I don't know if I'm getting the real Nikita. And then the next few episodes, I was like, see, I knew it. Here we are. She was just
I
saying
was
some
so
stuff.
nervous.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I was in that first episode. I was so nervous, but then I was also really sick. I remember I had to take about 3 COVID tests that
Oh
morning before I
wow.
got ready because I just kept on coughing the whole filming process. It'll be so funny if somebody like edited all my coughing videos. So like as Michelle would judge and give her critiques, I was coughing in the back, and I was like, I'm sorry, like. Um,
Oh.
and so I was really sick and then I was really nervous. And so I think that's why in the first couple of episodes, I didn't really get a lot of like speaking time. I had like little moments here and there, but I didn't get like, a lot of full sentences because my voice was terrible. And so I think that, walking into workroom, I didn't really know how to interact with the girls in a way because it's like, okay, well, you go in and then you do it twice, and you go and you kind of like wait there for a little bit, and then you go sit down with the girls, and then walking into like Vibe and Lazy already talking over on top of each other, and like I can get loud, but I prefer not to be loud, and so like I'm just. The first thing that came to my mind was, oh, she's from Sydney. Oh, well, Sydney's quite gatekeeping. And then yeah, they just went with that storyline.
So, what was your favorite look on the runway? Because I know what mine was from
Oh,
yours. But what was your favorite look on the runway?
of everyone else's.
It could be of everyone else's or yours. Well, let's do everyone else's first and then yours.
To be honest, like the only person I don't really remember much of the outfits was Freya. I think our workstations were so far apart. No, it wasn't. I really like Lucy's mesh number, the Terry Muglia kind of red. Her and Kana did. I think I remember because her and Kana did the same outfit. I really like Lucy's. Um, I mean, whose wardrobe would I steal?
Oh,
Olivia, no. Lucina, no. Vi, no. Lacey, no. Freya, no. Max, probably. Brenda, absolutely not. Who else is there? Am I missing one more girl? No,
Karna?
Kana, no, absolutely not.
Mandy.
There's only so many leotards I can wear. Mandy, I actually really liked a lot of Mandy's outfits. I really liked her Red Devil look that she did. I really liked her water look as well. The really big kind of poncho thing. Oh, was it? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think, and then out of my outfits, I really liked my white outfit that I wore before I got eliminated, and my denim look. I loved my denim look.
Oh yeah,
That was my favorite.
for sure.
That
Yeah,
was my favorite.
yeah, I think that's my favorite look. That's the first, and then Mandy Sewing Challenges is my second favorite out of the whole, I think, season.
Okay. Well, we are running a little long, so I do want to ask one more question. And actually, you kind of segued perfectly by talking about that white look. So I know that you hinted that maybe this will be the motivation that your boyfriend has to propose to you. So I wonder if there's any updates on the status of your relationship.
I don't know,
Give us
babe.
the
You
tea.
tell me.
Give us the tea.
Are you gonna propose? No, or my
Do
partner's
it
just
right
sitting right
now.
here.
Right, look, right now on the podcast. It'd
You
be
know,
great.
uh, it's funny because I did a couple interviews last week for media, and they obviously watched the episode, and they were asking me, this question, and I was like, I haven't seen the episode. What are you even talking about? And I completely forgot that was I said that on the runway.
Oh,
But I did tell my partner about it, and we are celebrating our 10-year anniversary in
wow.
in a few months.
Oh,
And so
congratulations.
I did say on my anniversary, by the end of it, I will have a ring on my finger. Don't tell me when, don't tell me where. You plan it, and I'll just be there. So I will be engaged in a few months, right, babes?
Yes.
Per.
But
Okay,
yeah,
that's wonderful. Look, congratulations when it happens, and we can't wait to see the ring.
Mhm.
oh, thank you so much.
One last
Um,
thing before we do leave, because I know Logan's going to be mad because we didn't get all the real questions, but one of our quick fire questions is the queen of positivity. I at least want to get that one in. Who do you feel? Who would you say has been the most uplifting and positive person in your cast during this journey?
uplifting. Probably lazy.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll probably say
cool.
lazy. Lazy's such an amazing, well-rounded person. Great drag queen. Always checking up on me and kind of messaging me. She sent me a beautiful message after my elimination. Yeah, I love Lazy.
Awesome.
Love that.
We do too.
Well, we appreciate you so much for joining us, Nikita. We
Oh my God, thank you
love
so
watching
much.
you on the show.
You
You were
did.
so amazing on
I
the show. You're
appreciate that.
so
Thank
beautiful.
you. Oh,
Tell us, tell us where everybody can find you on socials and all of the things that you
um,
have upcoming.
amazing. Yes, you can find me on obviously Instagram, Nikita Iman. I have just joined Twitter. I barely use it. On TikTok, barely use it. I joined Blue Sky, haven't started using it. Um, but I am doing a few shows here in Sydney on the set of the year. I'm going to take a little break to kind of reset for the new year. But the girls are going on tour in March, so I'm really excited for that. And then DragCon in July, I think it is June or July in LA. And
I'll be there.
then
Me
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Me
I
too.
think I'm definitely gonna sit down for the end of the year and kind of plan my year next year, and then I'll definitely just put things out as they come. But I appreciate the love and I appreciate the support
Yes.
and all the amazing things that you said about the season. And just yeah, thank you so much for taking the time out to really give love to the girls. So I appreciate that.
Thank you so
Absolutely. And
much.
thank you so much.